Morning everyone. So your story today is called Dr. Knowall. Do we think that he did? I wonder. There was once upon a time a poor peasant called Crab. A peasant is somebody who doesn't have any money, who drove with 2 oxen a load of wood to the town and sold it to a doctor for 2 tailors. When the money was being counted out to him, it so happened that the doctor was sitting at a table, and when the peasant saw how well he ate and drank, his heart desired to know what he saw, and would willingly have been a doctor too. So he remained standing a while, and at length asked if he too could not be a doctor. "Oh, yes," said the doctor. "It's quite easy, and it's very easily worked out and done." "But what must I do?" asked the peasant. "Well, in the first place," oh, here we go. The dogs like the story too. "In the first place, you must buy yourself an ABC book of the kind which has a cockerel on the front. In the second, turn your cart and your 2 oxen into money, and get yourself some clothes, and whatever else you need that looks like medicine. Thirdly, have a sign painted for yourself with the words, 'I am Dr. Knowall,' and have that nailed above your house's door." The peasant did everything that he had been told to do. When he had doctored people a while, but not long, a rich and great lord had some money stolen. Then he was told about Dr. Knowall, who lived in such and such a village, and must know what had become of the money. So the lord had the horses harnessed to his carriage, drove out to the village, and asked Crab if he were Dr. Knowall. "Yes, he was," he said. Then he was to go with him and bring back the stolen money. "Ah, yes, but Greet, my wife, must go too." The lord was willing, but let both of them have a seat in the carriage, and they all drove away together. When they came to the nobleman's castle, the table was spread, and Crab was told to sit down and eat. "Yes, but my wife Greet too," said he, and he seated himself with her at the table. And when the first servant came with a dish of delicate food, the peasant nudged his wife and said, "Greet, that was the first," meaning that this was the servant who brought the first dish. The servant, however, thought he intended by that to say, "That is the first thief," and as he actually was, so he was terrified and said to his comrade outside, "The doctor knows all. We shall fare ill. He said I was the first." The second did not want to go in at all, but was forced to. So when he went in with his dish, the peasant nudged his wife and said, "Greet, that is the second." The servant was equally alarmed, and he got out as fast as he could. The third fared no better, for the peasant again said, "Greet, that is the third." The fourth had to carry in a dish that was covered, and the lord told the doctor that he was to show his skill, and guess what was beneath the cover? Actually, they were just crabs. The doctor looked at the dish, had no idea what to say, and cried, "Ah, poor Crab." When the lord heard that, he cried, "There! He knows it all! He must also know who has the money." On this, the servants looked terribly uneasy with themselves, and made a sign to the doctor that they wished him to step outside for a moment. When he did, all 4 of them confessed to him that they had stolen the money, and that they would willingly restore it back to the lord, and give him a heavy sum into the bargain, if he would not tell the lord and give them up, for they would be hanged as criminals. They led him to the spot where the money was concealed. With the doctor satisfied and returned to the hall, he sat down at the table and said, "My lord, I beg you, I will search my book, and I will find where the gold is hidden." The 5th servant, however, crept into the stove to hear if the doctor still knew more. But the doctor sat still and opened his ABC book, turned the pages backwards and forwards, and looked for his cockerel. As he could not find it immediately, said, "I know you are there, so you had better come out." The fellow in the stove thought that the doctor meant him, and full of terror, sprang out crying, "That man knows everything." Then Dr. Knowall showed the lord where the money was, but did not say who had stolen it, and received from both sides much money in reward, and became a renowned man as a Dr. Knowall. And that is your story. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye.